Let me bang.
I do let you bang. Hey,
let me bang you, James, man.
I let you bang. I let you bang.
Greetings, marrieds and virgins.
Go for Gaichi! No for Gaichi, people!
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy?
What's up, people? We got a brand new MMA Roasted Podcast. It's me and Sean McCorkle, the funniest human being alive. Looks very happy. Ready to start a good show. I actually miss Sean. I have to have me to the show because I actually wanted to talk to you. I'm here. I am in Cozumel, Mexico. Been on a cruise for a week. Where was I? Yesterday I was in Jamaica, which I tried to buy a dress for my wife, and a lady offered me edibles too. She's like, "Want some edibles with that?" I didn't even ask for edibles, and I was gonna say yes, but then I'm like, you know what? Either this edible's just a gummy bear, or it's the most powerful edible ever, and I'm not gonna be able to even like stand on the ship. So I'm like, you know what? No. And then yesterday we went to Grand Cayman. How you doing, Sean?
Doing all right, man. I trying to think of where Cozumel's been.
I can't hear you.
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, no, I can hear you now.
Okay, now you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think, where's Cozumel at? I think I've been there before, but I was trying to think of which coast is it on?
It's in Mexico. Obviously, it's on.
Is it by Cancun or is it on the West Coast?
Yeah, it's by Cancun.
Yeah, I think okay. I've been to Cancun before, so maybe that's when I was there. I don't know. I'm such a world traveler; it's hard for me to keep track. You know.
How are you feeling? I feel like you're having a rough day.
Yeah, no, man. I got to really, literally before you sent me a link to the Zoom thing, 5 minutes before I got really nauseous. They got me taking this medicine, man, and sometimes I take it and I'm fine, and sometimes gives you hellacious nausea, man. So then you got to take something else for the nausea, which makes you tired. So then you got to take something to stay awake. It's like a never-ending cycle. So I'm really trying to get in. I'm trying to get all the details finalized. It's funny, man. I'm trying to go to Germany. I told you to get that process done that procedure on my back again. And I'll go to book a flight and it'll be $900. And then I'll wait 10 minutes and I'll go to finalize it. Then it's $1,800. And you're like, wait a minute, what just happened? The price has just doubled. And then so I'll wait a few hours. I'll go to do it again. Then it's down to $1,200. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll wait till tomorrow. The next day it'll be $800. I'll get ready to book it. I'll wait an hour. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go those dates. And I get ready to do it. Then it's back to $1,300. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with these flights. I don't know if you book your stuff, but it's been happening. But the flights have been doubling or tripling or cutting prices in half on a dime. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and then you have to take the earliest flight. Otherwise, they'll just cancel the flight. The whole day will be fucked.
Yeah, it's dude. Yeah, and their flight times are the worst. Oh man, that's a really cheap ticket. Oh, because I have to stay 36 hours between flights at some airport. You know what I mean? That's why I have to do that. They never tell you that part when you're trying to do it. So yeah, it's I'm a little nervous to go to Europe, especially Germany, with everything that's going on right now. I'm planning it 2 months ahead of time because there's no telling. I did find it funny that I couldn't go to Germany last time because I wasn't vaccinated. And now there's no requirements at all. You don't even have to wear a mask to enter. No vaccination required, no test, no mask, no anything. All of a sudden, oh, it's all over now? The whole pandemic's over. That's weird because it seems like the world was coming to an end three months ago. You know what I mean? All of a sudden now. Now nothing's required.
I still feel like we're in a bad dream.
Somebody, I don't know what the whole pandemic thing was about, but someone had a motive, and I don't know if they accomplished it or not. But I couldn't believe how everybody just went along with it. That's what cracked me up, man. But oh, okay, we got to stay inside for 3 weeks. Okay,
yeah. I mean, I didn't go along with it that wise. I took my kid everywhere because I'm like, you know what? First of all, I would see kids that were being isolated, and then they would come, and within 3 seconds they were sick. I'm like, no,
right.
Kids have to build up an immune system. I mean, right. I never got COVID. And I think it's because I went down on so many girls that told me they were prostitutes afterwards,
right. Yeah. That's one way to do it. If you want to build up your immune system, that is one way to go about it, I guess.
I don't think COVID had a shot. I mean, they were porn stars, but I didn't know they were also escorting. This is a long time ago. But anyway, this is not recently. So, meanwhile, the cruises, I had some funny stuff. So the cruises used to be a lot more fun. when I was single, first of all, because they were like the break dancers on the ship were like the best because those guys didn't give a shit. And first of all, if you're a professional break dancer, you like didn't follow along in life. And nobody when they were younger is like, I'm gonna be a professional break dancer, you know?
Right.
So they were with the women all day long, like the single moms or the bachelorette parties, teaching them how to break dance. And they were just banging everybody. And forgive me if I told the story before, I'm telling it again. But one time we were in the Bahamas and they went skinny dipping with like 3 cruise members at night. And then while they were in the ocean, local Bahamian guys stole all their clothes. So we had to go back on the ship butt naked. And dude, I was fucking dying. This guy named Miles and Curly Fries. That they were good guys. Curly. And then, dude, like if you're a comic on these ships, you can go insane because you're literally you don't know anybody. Like you're not like part of the crew. These people are on like 6-month contracts. You can't really talk to the guests. So you're just like like even today, I'm like, they're like, hey, you want to go to the beach? We're gonna go blah blah blah, get drinks. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do a podcast, talk to Sean, so you can tell me about his back. So which I like love, by the way.
That's much fun.
There was like one comic who was cheating on his wife, just the most miserable guy, but a funny comic. But one day he like just lost it. So I think he had a crush on this girl that was the comedy club host, who I used to bang, by the way. She was pretty hot, blonde hair girl, big tits. And when she would bring me up, I'd be like, give it up for whatever. She gives the best BJs up on the ship. Meanwhile, she really did give me a BJ. So it was like our inside joke. And then she would roll her eyes. So anyway, this guy goes up there and it was a kid show. The crowd was like, I mean, you see the most obese people you've ever seen on the ship. Like literally, there's no one at the gym ever, but like the buffet is just packed. I mean, so many people on like those wheelchairs, like the rolling ones, the electric scooters that don't need them. I mean, there's just so many people like that. So this guy goes up there and he's like, there's a gym on this ship, right? That's the opening. He goes, you guys are the most fattest, out of shape people I've ever seen in my life. And people are laughing because it was a black guy. They think he's like, oh, he's just being funny. It's all white crowd. He goes, they should just put they should put animal noises at the buffet. So it looks like you guys are like grazing, like moo, ha, ha. Dude, he just goes off for like 15 minutes. And the crowd was so fucking angry at him. I was dying.
Yeah, I was gonna say after a little while he probably should have just finished every joke with "what the fuck," and then they've been like, "Oh, this guy's as funny as Brendan Schaub." But it sounded like he was it sounded like they were trying to recreate the Rainforest Cafe. If they'd be making the animal noises while you're at the buffet, that would be awesome. It's I only went on one cruise ever, man, and I was not a fan. Like I didn't like the constant swaying, man. Like even like all the time. Like you can't. I'm sitting there gambling at the casino and my chips are falling over because the ship's swaying. Like it was just not. Yeah. It was like I don't know if every cruise sways, like if every boat sways all the time.
Depends on like where you go and if it's hurricane season. And dude, there was one time I was with this Canadian comic and he was like super polite, tall. This guy's name was Dylan, and the girl that was in charge was like flirting with both of us. This hot blonde, like just gorgeous blonde from Canada, but just way too flirty. But her boyfriend was the guy in the sound group, and her boyfriend was this like angry guy from Scotland, like a redheaded Scotland guy with freckles. So it's our 5th show and he runs out of jokes. The guy's like, I don't know what to do. I have no more jokes. And the crowd's seen me before because the crowd comes back to every show. Even if you tell them it's the same act, they're like, oh, you were funny last time. And then they get pissed, start like yelling at punchlines and stuff. Dude, this guy goes up there and he's like, that girl right there, let's call her Jamie. Like 5 minutes into his act, he just gives up. He goes, I want to fuck Jamie so hard. He goes, I just been thinking about her all night long, and I just want to take her and just jerk off all over her face. That cum oozes down her eyeballs, and I just want to fuck her in the ass. It went on for 15, and this girl's just like mortified. She's being verbally accosted, dude. And the boyfriend's doing the sound, so he's fucking. I could see like fumes,
Right,
dude. I was crying. It was one of the funniest. Like when a comic fucks up, it's the best. Comics having fun and doing well on stage. That's all good and all. But I mean, I always remember, like, even when I did the Tonight Show the first time, I had a cruise the next day, right? So the next day they fly me out and I'm on a fucking high because I did Leno, I killed it, I was so happy. I go on stage and they introduced me. This next comic was on Leno last night. So people, you know, who? So I go up there and a joke bombs, and I go, just so you know, guys, I did that joke last night on Tonight Show, and some lady goes, I didn't laugh then either.
It's the worst when the punchlines from the audience are better than from the comic. Like every now and then it's and it seems like it's usually a 300-pound black lady who has something really funny to say in the crowd. For some reason, they always on the videos I've seen where comics get roasted by the crowd, it seems like it's always a very hefty black woman in the crowd who's got jokes for days. So,
dude, there was a time where, like, you know, I would run out of jokes basically. Like now I do 5 different 30-minute shows, but I have a lot of kid stuff, having a kid, married. Before I would just like try to wing it, and I would just do like the dirtiest jokes I knew, like the ones that were too dirty for the comedy clubs. I put them at the end because the crowd had to heard it, you know.
Right.
One time this lady comes in and she was like a cougar, blonde, big tits, and she comes in late, and I go, oh, that lady looks like she can deep throat the Lakers, right? And she walks out, everyone's laughing, right? Dude, and I'm like, worried I'm gonna get fired from Carnival. So I'm going up to the cruise director afterwards, and I was like, hey man, I just want to say thank you for letting me be on the ship. I had a great time. I'm trying to get a good score. And I see the lady coming up to me, and she goes, I cannot deep throat the Lakers, and just fucking screams this at me.
It's like, I've tried multiple times. It didn't work.
Dude, it was fucking crazy. It was crazy.
I don't understand the people who can't take a joke why you would go to a comedy show. Like that's like I don't understand. Like I've gone to several, and the only time anyone ever tried to, usually it's funny because they're usually afraid to say anything about me because they think I'm going to beat them up or something. I don't know. Like they'll say that. But a guy one time tried to kind of bring me into the show, and whatever he said, I had a better response back to it, and everyone started laughing, you know. And he said, I'm just kidding. I don't want you to beat me up. He said, what do you do for a living? I said, oh, I fight in the UFC. And he started laughing. He goes, no, really? I said, no, really. That's what I do for a living, fight in the UFC. And he's like, great. So the one big guy I pick out, you know what I mean, to give it, you know, to bring to the show actually is a professional fighter, you know what I mean, or whatever. But that's what Bill Burr said to me. You remember you got me, you were able to pull strings and get me to be able to meet Bill Burr after his show in front of 5,000 people here in Indianapolis in a theater, like, which was awesome. Like you knew someone and his, I don't know, entourage or his opening act or whatever. So somehow Matt Mitrione tags along with me to meet him, and I get to say 3 words to Bill Burr, and it's just Matt Mitrione talking as if he's done 6 lines of cocaine and then drank a gallon of coffee, talking. And even Bill Burr at one point is just staring at him like, why is he still talking? Like he just keeps going and going and going. And Bill Burr's like, hey, I'm going to go to a cigar bar if you guys want to go. Mitrione's like, no, we got plans, man. You know, I appreciate you inviting us. And I was like, we do? Because I was even there with Matt, like we do, but I couldn't say that I would love to go hang out with Bill Burr because he had already said no for us. And Bill Burr's like, well, okay, it's cool, guys. Nice meeting you. Kind of like shook our hands and left. But all that to say, it was funny because Bill Burr, when he found out, he goes, wait, you're a fighter? And I was like, yeah. He goes, so it wasn't enough that just naturally you could beat up almost anybody, you know, like by being a giant. You had to go learn how to fight in addition to, because there were still 7 people on the planet you couldn't beat up, which that, you know, cracked me up. But he seemed like an angry guy. You know how he seems angry in his comedy? He seems just as angry in real life. Like he really like
is. I mean, me and him were like, we weren't friends, but like, you know, I had his number. We were friendly in the beginning because I was in acting class with him like 20 years ago. And I remember he did a scene and the teacher was like, that's really good. You know, how come I had never heard of you? Because at that time, no one. And then he was like, well, I did comedy for 4 or 5 years, and I booked a show called Townies with Molly Ringwald, and I moved out to LA, and I thought and the show got canceled for 3 episodes, and I basically had my dick in my hand for 3 years. I went on 5,000 auditions, nothing. So now I'm back here, and I have no agent, I have no manager, and I'm trying to get on the Apollo. Like that was like where he was at, you know.
Right.
And then I would ask him, I'm like, hey, how old are you? And he's like, why? So you could, you know, gauge your success. How old? Like he would basically like, which is exactly what I was doing. And one time we were at a bar, and like it was like people were like mingling, and I'm like, hey, what's up, Bill? He's like, I can't talk to you. He's like, I spend. He goes, I need to. He goes, I never actually network, and I have to network right now. I never do this shit, so I'll talk to you later. Like he just would tell me exactly, which I really appreciated. I remember I changed my name to Adam Hunter. My name is Adam Greenberg. My dad like pressured me into do it. Like my dad's convinced everyone in the world hates the Jews, and he's like, Adam,
especially in Hollywood, because there's no Jews in Hollywood at all. But
it was a mistake in hindsight, but I was trying to think of a name. So at the time, I was volunteering at the Ronald McDonald House every Monday. I'd go and spend like 3 hours with the kid. I met a guy on the Food Network. I was like an extra on the Meet Bobby Flay show, Hot Off the Grill with Bobby Flay, who was a total dick, by the way. Bobby Flay was just not a nice person because I was on a show called True Life. I'm a comedian on MTV, where they got me this big. At the end, I had a big audition for the comic strip, which at the time I knew I wasn't going to pass because I didn't pass the week before. But MTV made it a big thing. They followed me around. I was doing comedy in laundromats, supermarkets, and at the end, someone named Starl didn't pass me. And so I was like, "Hey, Bobby, I was on TV last night." He goes, "I know. I heard you failed." Like, he was just such a dick. And I'd be like, "Hey, I'm going to Mardi Gras with my friends." "Oh, that's amateur hour." Like, he was just he was like the meanest. Like, when Bobby Flay got a star in Hollywood for on the Walk of Fame, his ex-wife, who he cheated on, put Bobby Flay as a cheater and flew it over, in an airplane, so you could see it.
Yeah.
He was getting the star. Like,
yeah, it's a woman who's probably has reason to be angry if she's going to those extents to do that. But yeah, it's
So anyway,
anyway, go ahead.
But the Bill Burr thing. Can I get a Red Bull? Do you have a Red Bull?
Red Bull.
Red Bull energy drink, Red Bull, Monster. Okay. Thank you. So there was so he asked me, Bill Burr, he's like, "How come you changed your name to Adam Hunter?" Because anyway, I worked at the Ronald McDonald House, and there was a kid named Hunter who went through like 12 rounds of chemo, and he cried every week. Every week he was crying, and I figured out he was crying because his hearing was gone with like one ear. So I would scream at him, then he would laugh. Then we became like best friends to the point where he was like, "When's Adam coming?" Every week, "When's Adam coming?" Adam. Like this kid's life. Like, and I would send the kids to MTV. I would use my contacts, take them to comedy clubs. Like, I was like the head volunteer for 3 years. Anyway, so I was like, well, before he died, Hunter, I'm like, "That's a great name. Maybe I'll be Adam Hunter." So I told Bill that story, right? He goes, "Why are you changing Hunter?" And I tell him the story. He goes, "Don't give me the fucking publicist version."
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Burr. But one of the funny things is that, like, that crazy part is that, like, I remember being in LA and there was a thing called Beecher's Comedy Madhouse, which was like everybody in like every hot chick in the fucking world would go to Vegas and go to this comedy show. That was this guy Beecher would have like little people and comics and fire eaters. It was just a wild time. And Bill Burr went on after this comic who murdered. This comic was like high energy. And Bill was like, "What do you guys want to talk about?" or something, and just got like booed off stage. And I remember the comic saying he saw Bill that night and he was at the casino, just like pissed, just beating himself up, blah, blah. Well, 2 weeks later was the Philly incident when Bill went off on that whole Philadelphia thing, which I'm sure, because every comic, when you bomb, you're like, what could I have done differently? What do I wish I could have done? He'd probably replay that in his head, like, and then he was like, when that happened in Philly, he was like, "All right, motherfuckers, I'm ready this time." And then he just, like, I could watch that for the rest of my life. I could watch that. So.
Yeah, I think he spoke for every comedian who had ever been booed off stage or frustrated that night with people. I always loved Norm Macdonald talked about stand-up comedy. He goes, "It's funny when he goes, you're doing your best to make people laugh. You're trying your hardest. You've spent hours trying to come up with jokes like you really think about all night long. And then if they don't laugh, they hate you." He said, it's not even enough that they just don't laugh, but they actually boo you and like want you to die because you're not making them laugh. He's like, it's a strange thing, man.
Dude, no, I remember I asked Norm the story and he told me that it was true. He got on the, did I tell you that story about him on Johnny or Ed McMahon on Star Search? So he goes on, his agent convinced him to go on Star Search and he like somehow makes the finals, but he runs out of jokes. He has like no more jokes. Cause like, you got to be like, not just clean, but like really clean. And
right.
So he didn't know what to do. So he goes up there and he's like, maybe the semifinals, whatever. And he goes, "I got a bowl of soup, right? And trying to make the soup. So I put in some parsley and then I put in some sugar and then I put in some olives and tomatoes. Then I put in some potato." And he goes on for 5 minutes doing this with no punchline.
Right.
Literally no punchline. To the point where he gets 0 stars. And then he's looking down and I guess Ed McMahon was like, "So
And as for drinks, sir?
another lemonade would be great. Actually, you know what? I'll get a Pina colada, no alcohol. Thank you. So he gets 0 stars. So he's looking down, and Ed McMahon's like, "So you're from Canada? What's the difference between Canada and LA?" He looks down, and he just sees the shoes, and he goes, "Shoes." So the guy goes, "All right, Norm Macdonald, shoes."
That's terrible.
I fucking love him. Don Frye, how are you, man?
Okay, how are you?
Why do we always get the POV blowjob version of Don Frye when we talk to you? Like I always feel like, oh, there you go, better.
How's that?
That's better. Did you? Oh, even worse. Don, did you just kill somebody? There's blood on your shirt.
Is there? There's always something bleeding around me.
So we're talking.
I love that he didn't say on me; he said around me. Like there's not. It's like usually if somebody's got blood on their shirt, it's something from them. It's something from someone else on Don.
Dude, yeah. Speaking of blood, so I was talking to these girls last night after the show, and one of them was like a bigger girl. They're all from Louisiana, and the other one's like got the nicest butt I've ever seen. Well, one of them, she's at the gym, like doing squats, which of course, and like tight things, like showing off to everybody. And then another girl. So I was talking to them. They're nice, and I'm like, "So, do you have a boyfriend?" She's like, "Well, I got an ex-husband." She's like, "I'm like, well, what happened?" She's like, "Oh, he cheated on me with a stripper, So, but I still fuck him." And I was like, "Whoa, why do you still fuck him?" She's like, "He's the only one that'll bang me when I'm on my period."
Golly, man.
Dude, then
you know how to round them up, boy. I tell you. No wonder you're bragging about this on satellite.
Dude, then she goes, "You want to see a tattoo? I got a tattoo of a cock on my back, right?" So I go, "Sure, let me see." She turns around, it's a rooster on her back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Did you get that just for you to tell the joke? I have a cock on my back." She's like, "No, it was from my brother. He died and he loved roosters."
This girl sounds very stable. I was just thinking that whole thing with having sex on your period. Maybe that explains the blood on Don's shirt now. Is it? I think we maybe inadvertently found out where that came from.
Yeah. Just I borrowed a shirt from Adam.
Dude, my wife complains that I don't put a towel down and bang her, but she never wants to bang her on her period or off her period either. But what's the when you're married, I'm like, we'll just bang tomorrow. I don't understand the rut, So I don't know.
Yeah, I never got the period thing. Always creeped me out a little bit, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that the sight of blood isn't exactly an aphrodisiac, but unless it's coming from their face. But I'm just kidding. No, but I never got that. I don't know. Yeah, I'll wait till next week. I'm fine with that. That's a little.
There was a funny meme. This guy goes, "Hey, I want to bang," and the girl goes, "I'm on my period." And he goes, "I'm a vampire. I want to bang."
Oh, it's disturbing.
Meanwhile, last night at the show, and this lady's by herself, like an older lady. And I was like, "Oh, are you divorced?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What happened?" She's like, "I'm a widow." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Sorry to,
Wait, which one was it?
She goes 3. She says she's a widow. She goes 3 times. I was like, "Oh, are you a serial killer?"
Right. Yeah.
She was crying, laughing. That's the best. You take somebody
Well, she was crying at least. We're not sure if it was from laughing when you're bringing up her 3 dead husbands, but I bet she was crying at least.
She got her voyage was paid for, Shit.
Well, did you hear about that?
The next victim.
Did you hear about that chess player, Sean? So I guess that it's a big scandal in the whole chess community, where this guy beat the best chess.
There's a chess community? I didn't even know such a thing existed.
This guy beat the best chess player in the world, but they said he couldn't have, it was how did he do that? Well, now they're saying he had anal beads up his ass that vibrate, and somebody somebody was watching it on the phone at the game and was making him vibrate when he was making the wrong move or the right move, and that's why he won. So he has to get checked. He had to get body scanned for the anal beads the next game.
So how good was the guy doing that at chess? Like, why was the guy with the controlled anal beads? Why didn't he just play the game? Like he's.
I guess he was like on the computer, like, and it was like a computer was telling him what to do.
Oh, was telling him. Okay, I thought he was just like really good at chess, and it was just an excuse to have anal beads up your ass. Like, yeah, we'll put these up, and you tell me to make the right move or not. Like,
so, did you ever have anal beads up your ass?
You say Don or me?
No.
Either of you.
No. Nowhere near. I don't even think I've ever touched them or seen them.
I don't know what he said, but
except on video.
It's not.
I'm waiting to learn to play chess first, and then I'll start going down that route. Good Lord.
Did you guys watch the UFC last week with Mark Zuckerberg?
No.
God, no. I can't, but dude, I'll tell you what.
Did he get beat up?
No, he didn't get beat up. He rented out the whole Apex for him and his wife. His wife looked like she never watched a fight before in her life. She was like beyond scared. And it was just Mark Zuckerberg in the crowd. So people were mad because I guess Dana said it wasn't true and then it was true. But then the UFC tweeted out like, so Mark Zuckerberg, there's like a picture of him going like, yeah. And then someone writes on the UFC social media, Zuck is all of us, right? To which every comment was like, he's none of us. You know, I can't rent out the Apex. This is like just it did not go. That was not the best tweet. Whoever's doing the social media, but I don't even know how to feel about this. I mean, why couldn't he let in other people?
Dude, I don't know, but if I see one more
freak of nature, you know, he doesn't like people. He's socially incompetent. He doesn't want to be around anybody, and that pretty much shows, you know, what the UFC thinks of its fans right now. So something needs to change.
Sean?
If I'm just saying, if I see one more UFC fighter kissing his ass on Twitter, dude, I'm gonna get offline altogether. Like you see all these fighters. Oh, Zuck, glad to see you. Hope to meet you at the next fight. Like he's not gonna give you any money. Like give it up. You're not getting any money. But all these people, I mean, high level fighters say, "Oh man, I heard you know how to crack too in there. I saw your training video. You're awesome." Like he's not. What is he going to send you $1 billion? Like what do you think you're getting out of that? People that kiss people's asses like that, man, that have money drive me nuts. Like if Mark Zuckerberg was giving people money, he wouldn't have $100 billion. Like if he was just giving money away. Like people like that are the greediest people on the planet, you know? Like, but man, I lose all respect for all those guys talking about, oh man, Zuck, hope to see you at the next event. And I'm like, dude, that's God, get off his nuts. You know?
I just don't understand why he couldn't have other people around him. I don't know what the deal was. Like, why, or if you're going to rent it out.
Just to prove the difference between the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. God complex, man, to show that he can do it.
Maybe they rent it out. At least have him bring 50 friends. You know, like, and at least
he doesn't have 50 friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, he doesn't have any friends. Oh,
right.
I mean, if I rented it out, I'd bring a bunch of people. It would be a big party. Like you wouldn't know who was who. You know, it wouldn't. Like it would look a lot cooler if it was Zuckerberg and other people. But then it was just Zuckerberg. You know.
None of us have 50 friends, man. Sure.
So on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva, they announced that Uriah Hall is taking on Le'Veon Bell, the guy who just knocked out the other football player.
Yeah, that'll probably be a fair fight.
I know he's training boxing, but Uriah Hall's been training his whole life. This should not be close. What do you think is going to happen, Sean?
God, dude, if it's a Jake Paul show, Uriah Hall will probably get knocked out in the first round. But if he doesn't knock that dude out inside of 90 seconds, then something's set up. A guy who's never boxed, has no experience, or has one fight against another football player. Like a lot of the NFL guys are really good athletes, but there's a big difference, man, between being a good athlete and being able to box. You know what I mean? Like that's like you may have the tools to do it, but if you've never done it, I've been a way better athlete than certain guys I've boxed with that were pro boxers, and they beat the shit out of me. You know, so.
Don, thoughts on this?
I don't know who they are, and
you know Uriah Hall.
No, I don't.
He's a black guy who won the second Ultimate Fighter. He had some great fights. He was killing everyone at the beginning, doing crazy kicks, and then his last couple fights, he's just been not pulling the trigger. But I don't understand this whole like I'm retiring, I don't have it anymore. 2 months later, I'm doing bare knuckle boxing.
It's called money.
Yeah. I think people severely overestimate when you have a job and you're making money and then you stop making money, how fast it goes. Like a lot of people are like, oh wait, I don't have money coming in every month now. Like I have to do something. That's what like it's I think that's what happened to Tyron Woodley. Like he keeps saying, like he'll make $1 million fighting Jake Paul, but that by the time you pay taxes, pay all your bills, do this and that, like, oh wait, I have $100,000 left in my name and no plan for the next 40 years.
And he's got 6 kids, 7 kids, an ex-wife.
Yeah.
I know
all the people hanging on their hand out,
Yeah.
I know my wife told me, it really turns me off how cheap you are. I'm like, wait till you see how dry you get when we're broke.
Right. That's worse. That's a worse feeling.
So also, you watch any of the fights last week or no?
I didn't.
Okay, and then there's no way. So all right, and then
I was watching 100 Days of 100 Rated Rodeo.
So Ben Rothwell did bare knuckle boxing. He came in at 300 pounds and murdered some dude. He won in 18 seconds. He threw like 20 punches. I think he might finally finally found his calling. I mean, he's a great fighter, obviously, but I even congratulate him. Like, dude, congratulate. He goes, I didn't want you to roast me, but he came out and just, holy shit, Ben Rothwell looked good. But I mean, we'll see how good he looks in his next couple fights, right? But in this,
who did he fight? Was it even another fighter or was it an NFL
I don't know
guy?
who this guy was. But it was crazy. Let me see if I can find it.
Some of these guys you're saying are fighting. I didn't know Uriah Hall left the UFC. I didn't know Ben Rothwell left the UFC. I didn't know, are they cutting a bunch of guys I'm not hearing about or something?
So speaking of bare knuckle boxing, so they tried to get Melvin Gillard to fight again next week, who's on like I think an 11 fight losing streak. Colorado said no. Which is like everything's legal in Colorado except for Melvin Gillard. They're like, no, you can't do it. But Melvin Gillard.
Okay.
But on that card though, it's Mike Richmond, who great guy. He was a Marine. He works at a strip club in Minnesota. He's just been killing it. He's taking on Isaac Doolittle, Brendan Gertz.
Is he the main event in the strip club or?
Yeah, he's the main event at the strip club. Yeah. Brendan Gertz versus Jake Lindsay. Josh Huggy Bear Copeland. You know him, Sean? Okay.
Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I know the name, but I can't picture who he is.
And then Chris Camozzi's fighting Bubba McDaniel. So, which I wanted to tell you about, Sean.
Yeah,
Wahoo McDaniel.
Bubba McDaniel. Check out Chris Camozzi, bare knuckle boxing.
Wahoo McDaniel, yes. That should be a good fight. Camozzi, by the way, has one of the hottest women ever. Huge tits, 8-pack, great ass. And then Bubba's a good guy. He's obviously been through has had a hard life. His child passed away. It's just
that's a good one for you. His son got murdered by his 2-year-old boy got murdered by a dude who's still not in jail, like isn't locked up or whatever. It's been a couple years. He's they just keep delaying the trial and all that. So yeah, he's got a guy who literally they charged him with murder, but he's got money to be on bail, so he's just running around doing whatever. It took them over a year to even charge the guy. Like that's how our justice system works, man. It's crazy.
Dude, the guy who
they have Cain Velasquez locked up and they won't let him out.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, the guy who drove into my house, they told me they can't catch him. Literally, he left his car in the house.
Right. That guy sounds really fast.
Dude, I
really be able to run.
Dude, they're like, will you pick him up in a lineup? I go to the lineup. It's 6 guys who look very alike. I'm like, I don't know who. I saw the guy for 2 seconds. I had like the guy left his car.
Did you just say all black guys look alike? Is that what you were just
I did not say that. I go, these 6. All right, you know what?
That's what it sounded like to me. That's what I heard.
I did not say that at all.
There's a slight insinuation. Well, he didn't say it. He just slightly insinuated.
I said these guys in this lineup looked alike, and I couldn't distinguish because I saw the guy for 3 seconds. All right, so I don't know if you watched Bellator last week. Spike Carlisle, who's like a ginger Uriah Faber. with like freckles, who's a maniac. He fought AJ McKee and had the right game plan because AJ McKee was like 10 times better skilled. So Spike went out and threw 5,000 punches, flying knee, went ballistic, and unfortunately got the loss for him. But it was a good fight. I mean, the dude never been submitted. How come some guys, Sean and Don, just can't get submitted?
What's that?
How come you just can't submit certain guys?
Some guys just don't give a fuck, about their body, and they know they'll heal eventually, and if you don't get submitted or you tapped out, and the penalty is the same, as you can't fight for 6 weeks, why give them the satisfaction of tapping out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got to change that rule. A tap out. They've got to reduce the, he tapped out. Okay, so he can't fight just like the same length of time as he got knocked out or did get, or get his arm broke. No, you got to reduce it to give them the opportunity to fight sooner.
So here's Ben Rothwell in his debut last week in bare knuckle boxing. Yep, that was it.
That guy looked like a pretty elite opponent he was fighting, just from what I could see. It looked like he was top of the food chain.
What's up, people? Football is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You always find the latest football odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. And as your continued source for all sports wagering information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on your favorite sports and events. Bet Major League Baseball, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code CLNS50 to receive your rewards. BetOnline, where the game starts. So, Brett, on my news feed, for some reason, Brendan Schaub said that Tim Sylvia could have beat Ngannou back at his prime.
Oh, God.
Do you agree?
That's the best joke. That's the best joke I've ever heard from Brendan Schaub. That is the funniest fucking line.
What do you think, Sean?
God, I like Tim. Like, I know him and all that. He's not beating Ngannou, man. Like, it's not like, I mean, anything could happen, but it's not. Ngannou's punching power is the most ungodly thing I've ever seen. I thought it was like a setup or fake for a while till he beat Cain Velasquez. When he hit Cain Velasquez with a 6-inch punch and dropped him, I thought, dude, like this dude sold his soul to the devil or something, man, to be able to hit that hard. Like that is, I know a lot of it has to do with your anatomy, like being a puncher or not being a puncher, but he, that's why I say like he probably isn't beating Tyson Fury, but the Deontay Wilder, I would give him a chance of beating Deontay Wilder because they both just swing wild, and if Ngannou hits you, he's going to knock you out the same way Wilder is, or whatever. Like it's boxing gloves, MMA gloves, it doesn't matter. They're doing over in Russia now. What's his name? Alex Nicholson just fought some Russian champion. They're doing boxing with MMA gloves now. That's a weird sport, man.
How did Alex do?
He got knocked out in like 20 seconds because he fought some guy who's 30-1 or something like that. I mean, the guy's obviously an amazing professional boxer, but they're putting MMA gloves on him now. And you could tell it was all Alex could do to keep from trying to take him down or kick. Like it was really hard on him not doing that when you're fighting with MMA gloves. But that dude could box and he was boxing. But I think that's going to be the thing of the future, man. I think they're going to start having just stand-up only fights with MMA gloves,
So Aaron Pico last week, he fought Jeremy Kennedy. I like Jeremy a lot. Great kid. He separated his shoulder in the first round. He was winning the fight, kind of, but he got taken down reverse. It was a competitive first round. And then his corner tried to pop it back in during the fight, in between the rounds. And then they stopped it. Sean Don, what do you think of this cornering by Mike Winklejohn?
Oh, you just saw Brandon Gibson try to pop that thing in.
God.
One of his trainers at Jackson Wink, 6-gun Brandon Gibson, trying to keep his fighter in the fight. This is incredible, John. Look at it. It's so funny. I've heard this shot. He's so good at popping without hurting anybody. He just rotates into the position. Pump it back in.
Hold on.
Oh, you just saw Brandon Gibson try to pop that thing in. One of his trainers at Jackson Wink, 6-gun Brandon Gibson trying to keep his fighter in the fight. This is incredible, John. And look at him. Brandon Gibson, man.
Sorry about that. Trying to figure out how to get this
off. It's so funny. I'm afraid there's a dog who's so good at popping these things without hurting anybody.
Well, it sounds amazing.
Did you guys see it?
I saw a slow motion choppy version at first.
What are your thoughts on it?
I dislocated my shoulder in the first 15 seconds of the fight one time.
Hold on. Why can't I? Oh, fuck. All right, hold on. Where is this? Man, I'm not gonna share the screen anymore. This is fucking bullshit. Hold on. Share screen. Oh, desktop. Here we go. Stop share. Fuck. What? I don't know how to get this off.
I saw your screen for a second.
Zoom. QuickTime. Where's quick that? Fuck. Come on. It's like on like. Hold on. I'm gonna pause this right here. All right. Sean, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I dislocated my shoulder in a fight one time in the first 15 or 20 seconds. I actually found the DVD of it yesterday, but I fought for three full rounds with it out. I don't know how crazy I would have been about a guy who's a cornerman, not a doctor, trying to pop it back in. That would have been, because it hurts way more going in than it does coming out. I can tell you that. But after the fight, a chiropractor happened to be there and he popped it back in for me. I still had to go to the ER afterward. And then my ex-wife complained all night that I ruined her New Year's Eve, because it was New Year's Eve that night that I fought, and I ruined the party and everything because I had to go to the hospital. But I fought with it out the whole fight, beat the dude, ended up beating the guy by decision. But that Aaron Pico can't catch a break, man. It seems like when you watch him fight, he is unbelievable stand up, unbelievable wrestler, great skill. It's just like stuff just keeps happening, man. Like guys throwing wild punches or him dislocating the shoulder. It's like he's like what, 10-4 now or something, like he should be. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I wish they'd have brought him along a little bit slower, man. Like it's, I know it's tough to put a guy in who's a killer like that with people, but his first or second fight was against a guy who's a 30-fight veteran or something crazy like that. You know, like it's, yeah, he can't catch a break, man. He can fight though.
Don, you ever have a shoulder separated like that?
No, but when I wrestled for Arizona State University, I think we wrestled New Mexico State, and they had a guy, it popped out. His shoulder kept popping out about 4 or 5 times, you know, and then they pop it back in, and it just, once it comes out, you know, it becomes routine, you know, it's hard to keep it in.
Man,
mine's still not right to this day. That was 2005 when mine happened, and my shoulder's still not right to this day, man. They actually, I went to an idiot doctor, because Indiana doctors are the worst. He immobilized my arm and strapped it to my body like this. So I walked around for 8 weeks with my arm immobilized. And then when they took the thing off, my arm was just like this, like the muscles had healed, rolled forward, you know, or whatever. And so it was like, I went to the Colts doctor then, like the Indianapolis Colts doctor. And he was like, what doctor did you go to that immobilized this for 6 weeks? And I told him, he goes, that is the worst thing you can do for a dislocated shoulder. He said he should have immediately had you working on range of motion, you know, keep the muscles loose because they want to tighten up. But yeah, to this day, my shoulder still rolls forward on that side. It's really weird, but there's no fixing it. Yeah. So
that sucks. Like, I mean, the fact that you fought and won three rounds without a shoulder is pretty incredible. Sean.
Yeah. I mean, it was literally just hanging there. I couldn't use it. I was just using my left hand, but the guy sucked so bad that I was fighting that, like he really did. He sucked. Like he wasn't a good fighter, but I was able to beat him. But then he still to this day tells people that he beat me and it was rigged, you know, and all this different stuff or whatever that, you know, I just got tired. The best was after the fight, everybody kept telling me, man, I thought you'd be in better shape. I'm like, no, I dislocated my shoulder, you know, like you look tired, just look tired to me. And I'm like, I have an MRI that shows my shoulder was dislocated. Like I'm not making it up, but even my dad didn't believe me. He's like, man, you got to get in better shape if you're going to be fighting. And I was like, Dad, I passed out 3 or 4 separate times in the fight while on top of the guy. I'm sitting there, and because of the pain, I passed out. Like my head just drops on top of him, and he hits me, and it wakes me up, and I try to start punching him again. But I just was that out of shape. Everybody thought like that my cardio was that bad that I was completely gassed in 40 seconds. Yeah.
Did you see Dana all ripped?
Yeah. That's cracks me up about Dana being all ripped is everybody's like, oh, that's all steroids and HGH. Like, even so, you still got to work out and diet. If there was a magic pill, trust me, I'd be taking it.
I know. Everybody just thinks you take steroids, you get ripped. It's just, I mean, and if he's on TRT, who cares? I don't think it's HGH. I don't think HGH would get him that ripped. I think it's just TRT, probably a lot of it. John, did you see Dana all ripped?
No, but that's great, man. Congratulations to Dana. That's fucking fantastic. It is.
He did. He lost 30. I guess he lost 30 pounds, and he's been going every day because the doctor told him he had 10 and a half years to live. So
good for him, man. I hope he enjoys it.
Yeah.
I was glad that he has the ability. I mean, he's I don't know. You want to say he worked hard enough, but he's got his, gotten through life hard, through the ups and downs, and got in a position where he can pay for it.
Who do you think would have won in that boxing match? Remember he's supposed to box Tito? Who do you think would have won?
I don't know. I've never seen Dana fight, so I have no idea. I know that anybody who boxes Tito and misses him should put gloves on again.
Yeah, I thought Tito would have killed him until I saw Tito box Anderson Silva, and I was like, dude, I would beat Tito in a boxing match right now with an injured back, having not trained for 7 years. Like I would like that was the worst boxing I've ever seen in my life, let alone from a professional.
No, it still amazes me that Ben Askren went 19-0 with looked like he never boxed before in his life.
No.
I mean, it just goes. If anyone ever argues that wrestling isn't the most dominant, martial art, just look at Ben Askren, because I don't think there's a guy that could have went 19-0 with with just another skill. Like a Muay Thai guy would have been taken down. A boxer would have been taken down. A jiu-jitsu guy, but Ben was able to beat 19 guys, and they weren't bumps. I mean, Jay Haran, there was a couple guys on that list that were really good. Well,
see, that's what people don't understand. People who've never competed in their life, don't understand the difference between competition and practicing or kata. You've got to get in there, and you've got to. The whole factor of competition is that changes your whole outlook on everything. You got to get in there. You got to get punched in the nose. You got to get slammed on your head, and then that'll tell you whether you're really cut out for it or not.
So UFC 281 is going to be at Madison Square Garden, and it's looking pretty good. Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. I don't know if you know this, John. So Pereira beat Israel twice in kickboxing, knocked him out twice, but he's only 5-1 in MMA. But he murdered that last guy, fucking crazy guy, Sean Strickland. Because Strickland had the dumbest game plan ever of putting your chin out and kickboxing against a guy who's a glory champion. But Israel is the more well-rounded fighter. He's been competing in MMA more often. He's obviously an amazing striker. But does this guy have his number? Because he's beat him twice before. And obviously Israel's got a better wrestling and jiu-jitsu, but he doesn't have great wrestling or jiu-jitsu. But he has better than him because he's been competing in MMA longer. Who do you think wins this fight, Sean?
I think he's going to beat Adesanya, because I don't think Adesanya, if he's doing any wrestling, it's mostly probably defensive wrestling or how to stop from being taken down. I doubt he's working shooting takedowns but if the guy beat him twice, stand up, the guy definitely hits a lot harder than him, because I've watched some of his other fights, and that dude drops everybody he connects with, man, in kickboxing. So, I would, if I had to bet, which would make me wrong, but I'd say Adesanya loses this one. It's what'll be interesting is who they match him up with. If Adesanya loses, who they match the new guy, I can't remember his name, but who they match him up with next, because almost anyone else who has wrestling is going to beat him. So it's a weird dynamic that's going to happen. So
Yeah, like if what's his name goes up, Chimaev goes up to 85, then what happens? That's
right.
like,
Yeah, Chimaev will beat either of them with his wrestling. So it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Don, what do you think?
I'm gonna go the opposite. I was thinking that to begin with, but when Sean made his decision, it really cemented the fact that I gotta go get with Israel.
Right.
You know what's crazy is that Sean is like 6'7". What are you, 6'8"?
About 6'7". Yeah.
6'7", 300 pounds. But compared to you, Don, he's like a kid. He, like, whenever he talks to you, Sean becomes how I talk to him. Like Don is the manliest man. So also on this card, Carla Esparza is taking on Zhang Weili. Man, I want Carla to win. Carla's my girl. But Zhang looked like a fucking monster her last fight when she beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk. It's almost like when she lost that fight to Rose, they took her and the Chinese were like, no, it's not going to happen. They put something in her, some kind of batteries or something. But this girl's a monster. Sean, who wins this fight?
I think Zhang, man. I was glad when Rose beat her, but I was shocked when she did. If you watch both of them fight, there's no way you would pick Rose like if you watch their other fights to win, because that Zhang girl looks like she's on another level, man. Like she looks like a dude fight. It really does look like a man fighting, man. Like when the way she moves, just yeah, she can fight. And I'm sure she's probably forced to work out 14 to 16 hours a day, I would guess, coming from China. I'm sure they take that serious, you know what I mean? Like anytime they can shine on a world stage. So I'm pretty sure she has all the tools she needs, plus the threat that her entire family will be enslaved if she loses probably helps push her.
We don't
it's
know.
Like
by the way, MMA Roasted does not know if any of that's true about her family being enslaved if she loses, as well as I did not say black people look alike. Don, who wins this fight?
Well, I'm like you. I like Carla, but I gotta go with Sean on this one because that gal's just she's a machine, and it's kind of like the Ivan Drago Rocky Balboa fight, in Rocky 4, and she got all the machines, all the technological equipment, to make her bigger, faster, stronger, and like you said, the Chinese do not like failure at all, and you got no sense of humor about it. And anytime they get dominate, especially over the US of A, like they are now and everything, they're gonna go for it. They're gonna.
So when Dolph Lundgren, that's how Sean when he was hosting the MMA Awards, right? I was the writer, and I wrote a bunch of, and like he came in with his own jokes, which were nothing to do with MMA, but his like auditions and stuff. Like I'm like, so I had to kind of redirect this, and a lot of like I must break you kind of jokes, and also like it doesn't matter how bad this show goes. My ex left me for Flavor Flav, just Bridget Nielsen.
Right.
So my wife flew in, and she was like, Violet, first time flying, threw up all over my wife, like on the airplane. So she's calling, and she's like, "You got to pick up the baby." And right when like the show's about to start, so I'm like, "All right." So I head to the airport to get, because like they came in, whatever. So then I get a text saying like, "Dolph Lundgren needs you. He's nervous." like you have to help him with the jokes. I never thought when I was younger watching Rocky 4 that guy would be texting me saying like,
right.
Yeah, he was the nicest dude, nicest guy.
Wait a second. When was this? When did they have Dolph Lundgren?
This is like 2 years ago.
They had a fucking actor who pretended to be a fighter host MMA awards when they've got 500 retired fighters from around the world who could do it.
Didn't he also though have a kickboxing fight against Oleg Taktarov?
Yeah. If you want, I'll tell you what. You want your childhood destroyed? Watch him box Oleg. Like, how can a guy in Rocky 4 look like? Even when he boxed in Rocky 4, he looked like a guy that could fight. Like he moved like a boxer, fought like a boxer, and then you watch him fight Oleg, and he looks like Mark Zuckerberg doing his MMA is what he
Come
looks
on.
like the most.
He was a black belt. He was a black belt.
When he fought Oleg
What?
Taktarov, he looked like a girl trying to box for the first time. It was like horrible boxing.
He got his black belt along with his tuxedo.
Yeah.
All
Him
right.
and Steven Seagal got their black belt the same place.
Oh,
Probably.
man.
Yeah.
Fuck, Steven Seagal. That guy, I mean, you hear so many things about fighters like doing stunts on Steven Seagal movies. They're like, he's gonna try to fight you, and they're like, if he does, I'm gonna kill him. Josh Barnett tells us a story about that. Like, Josh Barnett is probably a guy that like
Nicest guy in the world outside the ring.
nicest guy,
Yes.
but I'd be the most scared of that guy. And like that guy, he's like Dexter, where his eyes just like glaze over. Like if he wasn't fighting you, he'd be murdered. He'd be a serial killer. Like he's a fucking genius. But that dude scares me. He doesn't scare you, not a little bit.
He ain't all there, that's for sure. You know,
Dude, he told me back in the day when he wanted to fight people, he would just go on MySpace, like, hey, you're a big guy, you live near me, you want to fight? And they would go to the YMCA and fight like in like the locker room, and kids would be having swimming lessons and seeing two fucking heavyweights beat the shit out of each other in like the weight room. It was insane. Josh Barnett said, oh, all right. So also Michael Chandler's fighting Dustin Poirier on this card. That's gonna be a great fight. Somebody had a stat saying that Chandler's opponents are like 2-9 since he fought them, but that's Tony Ferguson and Dustin Hooker. That's kind of a weird stat, but I don't know who wins this one.
Chandler, I say, man. I think Chandler's really good, man. He's got balls too. That dude fight. When he comes to fight, he comes to fight. Not that Poirier doesn't, but I think Chandler hits harder and is a better wrestler. So
this is like a throwback fight, like back when like Don was growing up. This is the kind of fight where like, you know, these guys are fighters. Don, who do you like, Chandler or Poirier?
I like them both. It's gonna be a tough fight. You know, I mean, it'll be probably the best fight on the card, actually. So, like you said, it is a throwback fight of when guys fought instead of, you know, try and get out there and dance around and look pretty for a movie role or a sponsor. You know, these guys go out there see who can bleed the most.
Dominic Reyes taking on Ryan Spann. Dominic Reyes is the guy that he looked so good against John Jones. I thought he beat John Jones, and then since then hasn't won.
He's just taking a shit. Yeah.
I mean, he's had great fights, and Ryan Spann's a guy, I don't understand this guy at all. He started fighting at 22 because his brother was a boxer, and he went to him with boxing lessons with him to like the gym. And so I can do this. And now he's one of the best. Like, how do you have no background in martial arts? You just hang out with your brother and then become this good. Sean, talk to me. How did that happen?
I don't know. Same thing happened to me. I didn't take my first jiu-jitsu class till I was 29. I had never wrestled, never done anything. Like all of a sudden I just thought like I took jiu-jitsu class and found out I was really good at fighting, like on accident. I was like, oh, I could probably beat most people up. That's weird. Of course, I was bigger and stronger than everybody, but I had no idea. I don't know, man. Sometimes it's kind of like the Happy Gilmore thing. Like sometimes people are just born with certain abilities, able to do certain things, man. And it's
genetics.
strange thing.
It's genetics, and you're not even aware that you have them until you know the situation arises.
And then Frankie Edgar is on this card too. This is his last fight against Chris Gutierrez. I hope Frankie wins this fight. But man, wow.
I haven't heard of Gutierrez, but I assume he's 37-0, and they're trying to get Frankie killed in his last fight, right? Because that's what the UFC likes to do, is take the legendary guys, and if they're leaving or retiring, like, hey, let's see if we can't permanently get them brain damaged before they move on.
So
Does he said it's his last fight, or people are just assuming?
No, he says the last fight.
So he is the Gutierrez guy really good?
He's really good, but it's a good fight for Frankie. He's not undefeated or anything. It's
okay.
It should be a good fight. Jake Paul. So there's a video of Draymond Green, who is a basketball player. He knocked out Jordan Poole in a practice game. Basically threw one punch. Poole pushed him. He punched him. Jake Paul offered him $10 million to box on his promotion. Should he do it?
There's no way the Warriors let him out of his contract to go box somebody. I don't think that them guys can't even ride motorcycles because their contracts in the NBA. Like they have all kind of stipulations to keep her from getting hurt. But no, that would be awesome. I would love to see Draymond Green get knocked out because he genuinely believes he's a tough guy. Like he believes it. Like he's not just talking a good game. Like he actually thinks he's like one of the toughest people in the world.
So Justin Gaichi is accusing Conor McGregor of taking steroids.
Of course. Why else would you remove yourself from the USADA pool for a year? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just not be tested for a year, guys. Don't worry about it. Like, and then all of a sudden you swell up 30 pounds heavier all muscle.
Dude, he posted a video of him getting a blowjob on his yacht. I think from his wife or his baby mama. Like
that cracks me up when people act like they're a cool or a player because they had sex with their wife. Like, oh, look at this. My wife's blowing me. Like, oh God, man, you must have a lot of game. Like, what is going on?
It's crazy.
My favorite one is when guys are smoking weed and they film themselves taking a hit off a joint and blowing it in the camera like they're a rebel. Like, isn't that legal in almost every state now? Like everybody's like a tough guy now because they are blowing. Like fighters keep doing it. They like are smoking weed and like looking at the camera like, that's right, I smoke weed, like they're cool or something. Like, get the hell out of here.
So Kevin Holland retired, but then he said, I'm only gonna come back if there's a really good fight. And now he's fighting Stephen Thompson. So
right. That's the fight he was waiting on. That brought him out of retirement.
And then Aspen Ladd, who missed weight 3 times, has been hired by the PFL. So they said her versus Kayla Harris is going to be a super fight. I don't know if that's a super fight. I think that's a good fight, but
super heavyweight fight. She's missing weight.
I mean, how is that a super fight? I mean, no one knows who Aspen Ladd is, and I like Aspen Ladd, but she's not I mean, Cyborg versus Kayla Harrison would be more of a super fight than this. I mean, there really is no super fights in WMMA right now. I mean, maybe I guess if Ronda Rousey came back and fought Gina Carano, but even that, like, I mean, do you consider that a super fight?
No.
Yeah.
No. It's good for it's a marquee fight, but it's not a fight. You know.
I love that guys think that a super fight is just that they change weight classes. Like I think a guy fights at 145, like I want to move up for a super fight. He gets a 155, or like, oh, okay, you change weight classes, so it's automatically a super fight. Like,
yeah, it's so stupid. Next week, UFC, it's Vivian Araujo versus Alexa Grosso in the main event. You excited about this, Sean?
If I knew who either of them was, I probably would be extremely excited. But I don't think I've seen either of them fight.
Grasso's a great fighter from Mexico. Throws a lot of punches. She's a good boxer. Also on the card, Cub Swanson taking on Jonathan Martinez. I love Cub. He's a good dude. Hopefully he wins this fight. And then Jordan Wright, who's the Beverly Hills Ninja. He's fighting this against Dusko Todorov. Mike Jackson's on this card. He's the guy that beat CM Punk, and then the UFC got mad at him because he wanted to teach him a lesson by not finishing him. And then he tested. Then he somehow won his last fight because he got kicked in the balls like 3 times, and then he goes, "My balls hurt." So he's still in the UFC somehow. Mike Jackson.
Are you sure that's the same guy? Because I'm pretty sure that the Dana White hates that guy.
Yeah, it's the same guy. He's on the card.
Golly, who are they trying to get a win for? Because that guy can't fight to save his life.
He was the guy who lost the fight to Mickey Gall in 13 seconds. Then he went back and worked press row. He's fighting. Yeah, he's fighting Pete Rodriguez. I don't know who that is, but I think Sean Shelby told me
he's a bus boy at Guadalajara Grill.
He said that they can't cut you after a win, according to the contract. So because he keeps winning, like he beat CM Punk, they couldn't technically cut him, I think. And then his last fight, he got kicked in the balls, and the guy got suspended or got eliminated, whatever, disqualified. So he's still in the UFC now.
That's unbelievable. I know Dana hates him.
Could you imagine if he just keeps winning and like somehow
That
gets
would be awesome. Yeah, if he just kept finding different ways to win disqualification, or like the other guy doesn't come in on weight, so he doesn't take the fight and just gets his show money, like just stays in the UFC for a career. That would be awesome.
And then the next week, it's 22nd, it's a good fight. It's Oliveira versus Islam. We're all picking Oliveira, right, Sean? Don?
I am, but it wouldn't surprise me if he lost. But yeah, I would say Oliveira just keeps proving me wrong, so I would go with him.
Don?
Yep, I am too. I hate to agree with Sean because
It means you're wrong.
And then Aljamain versus TJ Dillashaw on this card. Aljamain thinks that TJ is still cheating, just getting away with it. And I think Aljamain's going to win this fight. I think he got his mojo back. TJ,
you know what? Aljamain, they should be making $1 million off of him. Instead of, back in the 70s, the Pittsburgh Steelers had the terrible towel. They should make up a Aljamain Cry Me a Towel, Cry Me a River towel. And, they can sell that like I'm hurt. Wah.
Peter Yan.
That's big marketing. And then everybody can spin the towel around, dip it in water or something, spin it around, and just have the tears flying to the arena.
Peter
I actually like that idea.
Peter Yan's fighting Sean O'Malley. Man, I think if O'Malley wins, he's the biggest star in the UFC. Because he's already got like 3 million followers. People love him. He's got that whole Gen Z, bunch of rebels. He's got the crazy hair. He smokes weed all day. He's on Twitch. Women love him. He hangs out with Takashi. He's got the tattoos. But Peter Yan's a fucking monster. A different animal. I think Yan wins unless O'Malley can catch him with some kind of crazy spinning kick or something. And I mean, Sean?
I will be blown away if O'Malley beats him. Absolutely blow my mind if he beats Yan.
Don?
Yeah, that would be a shocker. I don't think Yan is going to be impressed with whatever hair color O'Malley comes in, this time.
And then Bilal Muhammad, who went to law school from Chicago, great guy, has just been gotten better and better fighting this guy, Sean Brady, undefeated kid who he beat Greg Jones in jiu-jitsu. It seems like he's like the perfect fighter, this guy. It's a tough one for Bilal, but I'm hoping he pulls it off. Sean?
I've not seen the Brady guy fight, but I always assume Bilal's going to lose because he always looks like he's going to lose to me, but he keeps winning. So, but going in, I always just assume he's going to lose for some reason.
And Don?
Not a clue, partner. Not a clue.
All right.
Don't know who
Well, that is our podcast today. What do you got coming up, Don?
Today I'm waiting on the home health nurse to come over, take this damn pick line out of my arm finally. It's been 3 months, so today is supposed to come out, and then I gotta begin taking my antibiotics by pill, for the rest of my fucking life. And now I'm gonna get off my ass and try and get back into life and make a living again.
Good.
My buddy Jeff Spencer's been nice enough to take care of me for 3 months, and it's time for me to become a man again, live on my own.
You've always been a man, bro. You're the manliest of men. I always think, what would Don Frye do?
Yeah, good.
And Sean, what do you got?
Everything Don said except the part about getting out and being a man again. Like I'm probably just going to sit and hang out and not be a man. But I don't know. I'm traveling. I'm going to be gone so much in November. It's crazy. I go to 2 different weddings in different cities across the country, and then maybe go to Germany. And I'll be gone most of the month of November. It's just it's really interesting trying to figure out how you're going to pay for it. So like anytime, Germany, it's going to cost me $20,000 for that procedure, and then it just I don't know. So. What did the Nelk? You know who the Nelk boys are? Not to extend the podcast, but you know who the Nelk boys are? Because I don't.
It's a big podcast. I think they're from Canada. The kids
Did Dana White really give one of them $250,000 for his birthday just because he likes him?
That's the word on the street.
But there was no reason he gave him $250,000. He just gave it to him.
I mean, I guess maybe from all the promotion he's been doing for the UFC or something. I don't know.
Hey, I should start promoting for the UFC.
Yeah, hell. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. We should start a podcast just promoting the UFC.
Next week, I will be at the Skank Fest in Las Vegas. Skank Festival. It's a big comedy festival. A lot of big comics on it, which is going to be awesome. And then I'm doing the Scott Baio charity event. Not for Scott Baio. It's a charity it's on for sick kids. I'm at the Ontario Improv October 19th, the Reno Laugh Factory October 20th to 23rd, and the Well in Bakersfield October 29th. You guys are amazing. Love you.